Hello and welcome to Take This TV, the television book club podcast where each week we talk about an episode or two of our favorite shows with our friends in fandom. Hello, that's you. I'm Carmen Askernes and I'm joined as always by the amazing Kimberly Woods. Hello.
Hello, hot potatoes.
This season we are talking about Dark Matter.
And today we are on the season finale, episode 9. It's called Entanglement. The description? The Destin's world comes crashing down.
And if you don't want your world to come crashing down with spoilers, pause it, go watch, and then come back. Because we will be talking everything that happened this season in this episode.
This was so good. First of all, I think they really stuck the landing with this. It was amazing. That a lot to juggle, a lot to resolve, and...
So good.
Yeah.
It was so exciting. And we were talking before we started recording, and we were just like, all of the pieces kind of came together in this episode, and I feel like they pace everything so well. I definitely want to read the book now. Because
me too.
I hadn't been familiar with it before watching the show. So, yeah. I feel like we also kind of get an arc for evil Jason in this episode.
That was one of the biggest surprises for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his regret and his apology. Like, I didn't see that coming. When Joel Edgerton was playing evil Jason and then Walking Dead Jason, as I like to call him, had him tied up, I was like, is that the same guy? Is that evil Jason? Like, I had to do a double take because I was, like, he looked completely different because he was actually feeling sorry, like, feeling bad about his actions, which we hadn't seen.
Yeah. It seemed like all it took was for his consequences to catch up to him and then literally beat and torture him for him to be like, I think I messed up.
Yeah, oops. I screwed this way up. So yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. Like the fact that he came in at the end, offered them a way out, gave them the car keys, gave the wedding ring back, gave the vials as a means to escape. That was really cool.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. I mean, I think that, it was nice that everything didn't just end in a big brawl. Because I feel like the show has always kind of been about, like, these characters growing because of their journey. And so it was cool to see that, like, after everything that's happened, evil Jason finally was like, I need to fix what I did and what I messed up.
Yeah. And I liked that the show did give us a spectrum of the Jasons. Like, we got to see the people on the message boards who were like, who wants to partner with me, and let's, like, go take him down, and people showing up at the house. But then on the other hand, we got the Jasons that were there to see them off and to see, like, how hard it was and how some of them, like, essentially they're Jason too, like, like, for all we know, we've been following this one Jason, but some of them were so close to, like, getting back to their home and might have made, like, one teeny decision off, or like one, like, circumstance was just slightly different that prevented them from, like, getting that Daniela and that Charlie.
Yeah, that was a nice moment of them, like, walking through the sea of Jasons to get to the box.
And those Jasons having to, like, let them go. So it was, like, a bittersweet moment, and it was nice to see that range. It felt, like, more realistic, that some Jasons would be more like our Jason and, like, wanting the best for them.
Yeah. I was trying to pay attention, but it was, like, kind of hard to see for some of them. And I was like, do any of the other Jasons also have a rubber band marriage ring? And I don't think that they do.
It's hard to see in
but
that
it's kind of
shot.
hard to see. Well, like, I was trying to watch all of them that showed up, but I don't think that any of them have it. And so I'm like, is that the choice? That he was like, oh, I can't forget. Because there was one point, oh man, I forget which episode, and he was like, oh, if I'm traveling so much, I might forget my family or which world was mine. And so he put the rubber bands on to, like, remember his family. And I'm like, is that the choice? But they all seem to remember that they had a family on this world. So, I don't know. But I am happy that our Jason got a happy ending, because it was touch and go for a minute there.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't do an old, like, switcheroo on us, because I feel like they probably didn't have time for that in this episode. I think they really, like, planned and paced this episode super well. I like that we got to get a little bit of the romantic moments again with Daniela and our Jason. That was really sweet.
That was sweet. Yes, them reconnecting and like her seeing how our Jason is with their son, and yeah.
And I like the theme too, kind of that they brought up, that it was like, you know, what are the odds that this Jason chose to go to that garden party, and then again, what are the odds that it was this particular Jason again that found her, you know?
Yeah. I think it was cool that it was Daniela's choice in the end, because she said that she got on the forum and told them that she made her decision. And they were like, well, that's that.
Yeah. So. I was so scared, though, like, the fact when he went on the computer in the first place, I was like, oh no, somebody's going to like track that IP address. And then when she went on to say it, I was like, oh, here we go. But that didn't seem to be the case. It seemed that like they tracked them through Blair's car, and that's how they found them. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that Blair didn't die, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah. When she was going into the house and then saw the blood and didn't call the police, I was like, oh, you're dead. You're not going to make it.
I love the kind of like the horror film genre moments that we keep getting and like across the entire season. But we had Blair coming in and being like, hello? Hello? And then as soon as I saw that house, like Charlie's friend's house, I was like, this is the perfect horror house to have some like stuff go down.
Right, with the big glass doors. And,
down to the backyard.
Yeah, it was definitely like, I think we got a little bit of everything this episode of all the things we've seen over the season. I also liked when we had that moment with Walking Dead Jason where he was sort of telling evil Jason the like consequences of all the things that he had done and the human cost. And we learned how Walking Dead Jason's Amanda died.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The other biggest surprise for me this episode, I would not have guessed that it was because of a tree landing on Amanda. Like,
that's
horrible.
A bad way to go.
Horrible.
Yeah. And then he said that he sat with her until she passed away, and I was like, dang.
Which took like 2 days, right, or something? Like, yeah.
Yeah, which is probably why that Jason is like so violent and extreme, because he's had so much trauma that it's like turned him into this.
And then he gets hit by the car on the way out.
He did. I mean, he was trying to stop them, and he reaped what he was sowing.
That was going to be the only way for him, because he wasn't going to stop until he got Daniela, and yeah.
Yeah, he had to go.
Get out of there. We also had to see Ryan.
Yes, he's back.
Yeah, which I think was the Ryan that got left, and like you were right. I didn't think that Amanda and Evil Jason would have picked the same like euphoric universe, but you were correct.
I think there was a moment when Evil Jason was dropping Ryan off, or abandoning him there, I should say, and he said he imagined a world that Ryan would like. So I think it's like this is the idyllic future that Ryan wanted in Evil Jason's mind.
Gotcha.
And I think that's probably why it lined up with Amanda. I like the like Tony Stark montage of Ryan just like perfecting the formula and figuring it all out. And I am curious like why he was looking for Amanda and what he's gonna do.
Yeah. And is she gonna leave behind her world now, or what?
Yeah, we didn't really get much insight.
She seemed happy, still happy where she was.
Yeah.
So, and then we also saw, what is his name? Leighton? No.
Leighton, yeah.
Leighton. Looking like he was having a fun time, styling, traveling.
Yeah, that seemed like the Leighton from original Jason's World. And he's just partying across the multiverse.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too because Amanda says that taking the drug is addictive. So I wonder for him, like, we didn't really see completely like the consequences of that. We kind of saw evil Jason being unhappy and was he going to leave, but I wonder like how much truth that is. Like, are people going to have a hard time stopping traveling once they start because of the addictive quality of the compound?
That'd be interesting. I mean, there were those like marks in Evil Jason's arm since he's been traveling so much. But it seems like most of the people who've been traveling have so much trauma that they're like, I don't want to get back in that box.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am curious, like, if all of the Jasons are out of the stuff that allows you to travel. because it did seem like for most of the Jasons, they had to use their last vial after they were no longer with Amanda to get back home. But I'm curious if there's like variations of other Jasons who were able to get back with more.
Or Jasons that found Orion who had it, or Jasons that somehow stole the idea or saw how to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that they might destroy the box.
Which?
I thought like Jason or our Jason would get in the box with the family, and then the other Jasons would like destroy the box.
Oh yeah.
But they didn't, and so I'm like, oh man, what if the world finds out about this technology, and like what happens if other people start trying to use the box?
And what are all these Jasons gonna do now? Are they gonna stay here?
I don't know.
I mean, there's gonna be like, at like the last episode, like dead. There's a bunch of dead Jasons.
Yeah, well, the smiling detective is gonna have one heck of a case on her hands with all these murders that have been happening.
Bodies everywhere.
Yeah. So I kind of hope that this is the end, because I feel like this would be the perfect ending. But if they did make another season, I would be interested to see what happens with the other side characters.
Yeah, it was a very satisfying journey for sure.
Yeah, I loved it.
Me too. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this awesome ride. We're at Take This TV on Instagram and TikTok. Please leave us a review. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Let us know how you like this season, and also what else you want to watch with us. And remember, it's dangerous to watch TV alone.